Okay, let's start.
Okay.
Yesterday we was talking about the present simple. So
Yeah.
today we are going to continue a little bit thing in the present simple. Okay, it's called
Okay.
adverbs of frequency. Adverbs of frequency. Do you know what
Okay.
is the meaning of adverbs of frequency? What are they? And what is the meaning of adverbs of
Like
frequency?
the adverbs of the quantity.
Sort of, okay, maybe what we can say also. It's a word shows the number of times that something happens, okay, like how many times do you go to the park, how many times do you watch TV. It's a word shows how many times an action repeats or an action happens, okay.
Yeah. Okay.
Here are the adverbs of frequency. Like you see here, always, usually, often, sometimes, hardly ever, or rarely, the same, never. And there is a percentage for using each of them. Always, it means that happens, that action happens every day. Usually, a little bit, little, 90%, often 70%, sometimes 50%, hardly ever or rarely and never, the two of them, we use them as negative. We can use them as negative. Okay?
Okay. Okay.
Okay, can you read it one time?
Uh, always, usually, often, sometimes, hardly, ever, rarely, never.
Okay, great. Okay, now let's learn where we put them. We put them after the noun or the pronoun and before the verb. The noun or the pronoun, which are represent the subject, and before the verb. Okay, and if we have verb to be, they came after verb to be.
Oh,
Let's
okay.
look at an example that's more clear. Here is the subject, noun or pronoun, connect plus grade 6. This is connect plus grade 6. Okay, then the adverb of frequency, then the verb in the present simple form. What is the meaning of the verb in the come in the infinitive they and any plural noun, and with s or es or ies if it comes with he, she, it, or any singular noun.
Okay.
Okay, so this is how we write the sentence. The adverb of frequency after the subject and before the verb.
Okay.
Like you see here, Nick always plays tennis in the evening. As you see, always between the subject and the verb. We often buy, I'm sorry, it's not buys, it's buy. This is a mistake, okay. We often buy groceries from the supermarket. As you see, often between the subject and the main verb, okay.
Okay.
Rahf, this is Connect Plus, grade 6. The next, if we have verb to be in the sentence, am or is or are, the adverb of frequency come after them. So we have the subject, noun or pronoun, then verb to be, then the adverb of frequency.
Okay.
Like, the place is usually crowded. The place is usually crowded. As you see here, usually after verb to be, which is. We are late for school. We're never late for school. As you see here, the adverb of frequency, it's here never, and it's after verb to be.
Okay.
Okay. Asya, at this point is clear. The main verb,
Yes.
the adverb of frequency, comes before the main verb, but after verb to be. Okay?
Okay.
Okay. Let's pay attention to this point. This is the most important thing, and most of you as a student get confused in this point. Okay?
Okay.
As I said, never and hardly ever, they are negative form. And already yesterday we took doesn't as a negative form in the present simple, right?
Yes.
So what is the difference between never and hardly ever and doesn't? When we talk about, especially when they come with he, she, it, or any singular noun. The difference here that the verb, when we make it negative with never and hardly ever, the verb still comes with s or es or ies. The verb with never and hardly ever doesn't put, we don't put it in the infinitive form. Still comes with the s
Okay.
and es and ies.
Okay.
But as we said yesterday, if we make the negative with doesn't, so the verb returns in the infinitive form. Doesn't takes the s from the verb, but never and hardly ever remains the s in the verb. Okay,
Okay.
is that
Okay.
clear? We
Yes.
talked we talked about he, she, it, or any singular noun, especially.
Okay.
Okay, as you see the examples, Ahmed never plays tennis. As you see the S as it is,
Yes.
never plays. She hardly ever goes shopping. As you see the verb with the es, not in the infinitive form. And the last one, a giraffe never eats meat, the verb with s. But
Yes.
with doesn't, Ahmed doesn't play in the infinitive form. She doesn't go shopping in the infinitive form. A giraffe doesn't eat in the infinitive form.
Okay.
So here is the difference or the tricky point that you have to pay attention to, that when you make a sentence negative with never or hardly ever, you uh, remain the s and es and ies. Don't put the verb in the infinitive form, and the negative form with doesn't, as we usually do, we put the verb in the infinitive form.
Okay.
Okay, great. Okay, now the time you practice. Put the sentences in order.
Yeah.
Number 1.
Mike often eats cereal for breakfast.
Mike often eat cereal okay, that's great. حد معانا تاني هيجاوب؟ مين موجود معانا تاني؟ طيب آسيا continue. Number 2.
Um. She always comes home late.
Excellent. Okay, the next.
Mm,
Take your time.
My brother and I usually go together out in the weekend. At the weekends,
Usually
go out together.
go out together at the weekend. That's great. Okay. Okay, Rah, number 4. You can make number 4. Answer number 4.
My father.
Rah, yeah, go ahead. Rah, open your mic and answer number 4. طب آسيا continue number 4.
My house. Father.
رهف
Yes.
press علامة المايك، دوسي على علامة المايك تحت. في تحت علامة المايك، دوسي عليها عشان تتفتح. على الشمال. دوسي عليها عشان تتفتح يا رهف. لا يا قلبي انا ما اقدرش اقفل المايك بتاعك. آسيا continue.
My father never does housework at home.
My father never does housework at home. Number 5.
They are often busy. They are often busy at weekdays. They are often busy on weekdays at home.
Yeah, they are often. Excellent. Here comes after verb to be. Sarah, good morning.
Good morning, Janice.
How are you?
Fine, thank you.
Okay, Asia, number 6.
Number 6. Tom doesn't drink coffee in the morning. Doesn't often drink the coffee.
Yeah,
Okay.
excellent.
Tom in the mornings.
The last one.
I'm always not tired in the evenings.
I'm not always.
Yes.
Evening. Okay, great. Sarah, in a quick way, we are talking today about the adverbs of frequency. This is about, again, the present simple tense. We continue with yesterday. Let's make a quick revision. Adverbs of frequency, that a word shows how many times that an action happened, like how many times you visit your grandparents, how many times you go to the park, how many times you take guitar lessons, piano lessons, how many times an action happens. Okay, Sarah?
Okay,
Okay, they are always, sometimes, usually, often, hardly ever, or rarely, and never. It comes after verb to be, as you see here. You're always late, after verb to be, and before the main verb, between the subject and the main verb. We usually go between the subject and the main verb. But with verb to be, it comes after the subject and verb to be. Okay, Sarah?
okay,
Okay. Again, the important point that you have to pay attention that when we make the negative form in the present simple with he or she or it, if you make it with hardly ever or never, the verb stays with the s and es and ies. But as we say yesterday, if we make the negative with doesn't, the verb comes in the infinitive form. This is the difference here. Never plays. Ahmed never plays the s as it is, but here doesn't play in the infinitive form. Hardly ever goes, the es as it is, but she doesn't go in the infinitive form. Okay, ya Sarah, that is the difference in the negative form between the two of them. Sarah, it's
Okay.
okay? You get it?
Yeah.
Okay. Let's continue. Here are all the adverbs or the expressions of frequency. That's always and usually, often, sometimes, hardly ever, and never. Okay? And here a specific time, a specific number of times that I can say every day, every week, every month, every year. Here I'm more specific, okay? But always, usually, often, sometimes it's a percentage of the verb. But every day, every week, every month, every year, I am more specific. And all of these frequency expressions come at the end of any sentence. Okay? Every day, every week, every month, every year comes at the end, but always, usually, often, sometimes, hardly ever, whenever, as we know, before the verb or after verb to be. And here is another expression that I am more specific. Once, it means one time. Twice, it means two times. Three times, four times, and etc. Five times, six times. Okay, then here as a preposition. A month, here it means two times every month, three times every month, and you can change month with any word. You can say three times a year. That means three times every year. This action is repeated or repeat three times every year, or four times every a week. It means every week. You can change this word, but we never change a. Here, it's not an article, it's like a preposition. Okay?
Okay.
So all of these frequency expressions come at the end of the sentence.
Okay.
You get it? Is there any
Yes.
question?
At the end only?
Yeah.
Okay.
Sarah, you get it?
Yeah.
Okay. You have any questions? You want to ask me anything?
No.
No, thanks.
Okay. The last point, this is how we ask about how many times. This is the expression. How often? It means how many times you do something. How
Okay.
often? It means how many times you do something or an action repeated. Like you see here, for how often, then do or does, then the subject and the infinitive form. The same question we studied yesterday, a same present simple sentence. How often do or does, if I'm saying about how often do you, okay,
For you.
and how often she does. So do or does, it depends on the subject. So this is how we form the question. How often do or does, then the subject, if it's noun or a pronoun, and the infinitive form of the verb.
Okay.
Okay, now let's go to the book or the revision material. I also put it on the site.
Yeah, I'll check. Okay.
The title is the revision, general revision, and you will see this picture. At the beginning, there is all the explanation from yesterday and today. Here is all the present